Hey Lemon Squeezies, it's Aintthat Amotha. I'm coming to you guys with my weekly update. Let me start by saying Happy Mother's Day to all of my current mothers, my soon-to-be mothers, my still trying to become mothers. You all count in my book, and I hope that you all had a fabulous day. Mother's Day was actually yesterday, and my sister and I went to the zoo. They had an event where all mothers get in free. So my sister and I and my oldest nephew, Justin, we went to the zoo yesterday. We had an awesome time. It was $12 for all three of us to get in, so it was worth going. And just did lots of walking and stuff like that. So by the time I got home, I was really tired, and my feet still hurt and everything. So I didn't record yesterday. This is actually Monday, me recording. So happy Mother's Day to everyone. I hope you all enjoyed your day. This is going to be my week 32 update. And this week, baby BLT is the size of a bok choy, which is not a very popular vegetable. Next week, I'll actually be a pineapple. So I think we're going to start getting back into the more recognizable vegetables and fruits and stuff. But I guess the bok choy is more to symbolize her length, as last week was with the asparagus. So as of my current week, I am currently 33 weeks and 4 days. Like I said, I usually record on Sundays, but today's Monday, so I'm a day ahead. And I just want to send a special shout out to everybody who texted or Facebook messaged or called or whatever yesterday to check on myself and my family. I don't know if you guys have heard about it. I'm sure you have at this point, but there was a shooting down here yesterday at the Mother's Day second line, which is just another name for parade that we use here in New Orleans, because we have the brass band and stuff like that that performs at our parades. So everyone was calling and checking on me to see if I was okay and all that kind of stuff. We're fine. No one that I know of, nobody's come to me and been like, oh yeah, I was included in that. But there was 19 people who were shot. One person was shot like 6 times. There was 2 10-year-olds that were injured. Like, it's ridiculous. That's part of the reason why I don't go out of the house much. As part of me staying home, like, I'm really a homebody. I don't really go out to those kinds of events and things. I did Mardi Gras like maybe 2 years in a row, but even Mardi Gras to me isn't even worth it anymore. People down here see big major events like that as an opportunity to take out their vendettas and things like that, and ain't nobody got time for that. So I usually stay home or stay out the way or go to a house party or something like that. So yesterday we were actually uptown at the zoo when all that stuff happened, and by the time we even heard about it, everything was pretty much over. It was near my house though. It was just on the other side of a major street. I live like maybe 2 or 3 blocks away from the major street, and it was on the other side of that major street where the second line happened. I do know of a couple people that were there, but they were not injured. So just big shout out to everybody who checked on my family to make sure we were all okay. Really appreciate that. So as far as symptoms this week, there aren't very many, surprisingly enough. I know 2 weeks ago I was just full of symptoms and complaints and everything like that, but this last week has been pretty easy on me. As far as carpal tunnel is concerned, I have been dealing with it very rarely. It's to the point where it's manageable. It doesn't like wake me up out of my sleep anymore, crying or anything like that like it used to. My fingers do still get swollen from time to time, and it's usually on my right hand. And my fingers go numb, and it's usually my first 3 fingers, my thumb, my pointer, and my middle finger. And they just go numb and they tingle a little bit. And then on this hand here, it's usually just my thumb and my pointer finger. So still dealing with it, I guess, in a sense, but not as bad as it was before. So it's definitely manageable. My sleeping habits are completely screwed up. My days and nights are mixed up, but then I have my nights where I actually go to bed at a decent hour and, don't live that vampire life. So like an average day for me would be, let's start with me waking up probably about 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon. There for a couple of days last week. I would wake up around that time. I would eat lunch, and within an hour, I'd be back asleep again until about 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Pop gets home usually about 8:30. Cook dinner for her. She goes to bed usually no later than 11:30, 12 o'clock. And I would stay up all night till about 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning and do it all again the next day. This week, let me see, I actually went to bed once with Pop. We went to bed at about 11:30, 11:45. We were both tired. I slept till about 7 in the morning and got up and was refreshed and did some cleaning around the house and stuff like that. But as of today, I'm just waking up. I just got out the shower. It's about, I'd say probably about 2 o'clock, 2:30, something like that. But I don't feel the need to take a nap. Now, after I eat lunch, that might be a different question. So my sleeping habits have been crazy. I do want to sleep all the time. But my days and nights are mixed up as well. So like I'll stay up all night. I'll be up until just before the sun comes up. And then I'm grouchy when Pop's alarm clock goes off and she gets up and she's turning on lights and opening and closing doors and stuff. So, and I don't know if that's just baby preparing me, or because it's not like an anxiety or an insomnia. It's just my days and nights are completely mixed up. So, I've just been taking advantage of being in the house by myself. As far as the daycare is concerned right now, I only have one little girl that I'm keeping on the weekends at night. My nephews have officially gotten enrolled in daycare, thank God. So I don't have to worry about that anymore. And my sister is still working nights. They don't provide daycare for nights. So she has found a babysitter to keep them like really, really cheap at night. So I don't really have to worry about that anymore. So I'm basically just babysitting the one little girl. She's 11 years old. She's pretty self-sufficient. She comes in, she has dinner, she watches a little TV, put her to bed, get her up the next morning, feed her a bowl of cereal, get her dressed. And, it's a pretty simple job to do. So that's how that's working out. And then I have my full day by myself. So after she leaves, and like I said, that's only on the weekend. So I've got all week to sleep. On the weekend, she usually leaves, I'd say probably about 7:45, 8 o'clock in the morning. I can go back to sleep and sleep all day if I want to after that. So that's been working out for me. I've been extremely gassy. I know I told you guys how if I sit up in the bed sometimes, like I'll release a lot of gas. Like I'll be perfectly fine laying there, but as soon as I sit up to go to the bathroom or something, I'll just start burping. So I'm still dealing with that. I did have several Charlie horses last week, and that's because of all the extra weight on the front. And everyone is suggesting potassium. I hate bananas. Like, you will never see me bite into a banana. That is disgusting. I don't like the flavor banana. No, that's not me. So I'm just learning to deal with it. But the last couple of days have been pretty good. I've still been cleaning a lot. Excuse me. It's a lot less to clean. Like, I could basically straighten the whole house in 15 minutes now because everything is so perfect. And because I don't have children in the house all the time and stuff like that, it's a lot less for me to do. But I just love that smell of freshness. Like I told you guys last week, bleach is my best friend right now. I know that's not a good thing for me to be around, but I just like crave that smell of cleanliness constantly. So I'm constantly like wiping down tables and stuff like that. Like, I just love that smell. I love it when I walk into a room and it smells clean. So I've been cleaning like crazy. I've become a germaphobe. I've never been a germaphobe. Like, I've always been a clean person, but it's gone to a whole nother level now. Like, I don't like, for instance, I made a pan of brownies the other night. I left the pan on the stove for Pop, so when she got home from work, she could have brownies if she liked. It was like she hit the pan like the Tasmanian devil, and there was like little flakes of brownie just all over the stove. Normally I wouldn't say anything about it and I would just clean it up myself, but I like ran in the room and I'm like, you made this mess and you didn't clean it up and you need to come in here and clean this up. And she's like, what the hell is wrong with you? So I just can't take mess. I can't take germs. Don't come in my room coughing on my blankets and stuff. Like, I just don't like stuff like that anymore. And then my skin and my hair has been really dry. Especially my hair. Like, I don't really go anywhere on a daily basis. So for the most part, I keep my hair up in a ponytail, and I'll like wrap it around with a scarf, and I'll have like my little curls hanging out the top. Lately, my hair has been so dry. As soon as I put it in a ponytail, it just like shrivels up into this little frizzy ball. And Papa's been calling me beloved. She says I look like beloved when my hair is like that. And I don't use a lot of product because I'm not going to sit at home all day and use up all my product if I'm not going anywhere. But I need to find something to put in my hair to keep it from being so dry, you know, where I don't feel like I'm wasting product. So I'm going to look into some kind of maybe oil spray for it or something like that. I don't know. I know I really like the from Trees. I think it's like triple action or whatever. You got to shake it up before you spray it. But that stuff is almost $8 a bottle. No, that's not going to work. BLT is still very active, especially when I'm hungry. It's like as soon as I think about food, she'll kick me really hard. Like, yeah. She loves sweets. She dances for chocolate. She loves popsicles, stuff like that. So she's been very, very active this week. I did have a midwife appointment this past week on Thursday, I believe, because we just switched everything over to Wednesday. They had to switch Pop's day off at work. So everything has been switched over to Wednesday. So I believe it was on Thursday we went. And everything was pretty cool with that. She was just checking back in with me. As far as last time I had seen her, I was really, really stressed out over some personal family stuff. And all of that has been taken care of. So we talked about that. Blood pressure looked good. We checked my thyroid. What else did we do? We laughed and joked a lot, as we always do. And then she did my first pelvic exam, which I thought that meant she was going to be checking for dilation. But I guess we're just doing like my last little bit of labs before the baby actually comes. Make sure there's no type of bacteria or anything that needed to be treated or anything like that before the baby gets ready to pass through. So she did that or whatever, and she came back and she was like, you know, you got a lot of discharge. TMI, by the way, sorry about that. She was like, you got a lot of discharge. Is everything okay? And I'm like, yeah, I mean, for me, that's completely normal. It's been like that my whole pregnancy. Especially the further along I get, the worse it gets. And it's just something that I've gotten used to. She's like, well, it doesn't have any foul smell or anything. No, it doesn't. It's not itchy. No. And she's like, well, I'm going to go look at this underneath a slide real quick, underneath a microscope, and see if I see anything. Because, you know, I just want to make sure that everything is everything. And I wasn't tripping because TMI, Pop and I do not have a very active sex life. So we haven't had any sexual contact since the last time she did one. So I know it's not like a STD or anything like that. And then it's not something that's bothering me. Like, I'm not itchy, I'm not burny, I'm not stinky, I'm not any of these things. So I wasn't really too concerned about it. So she came back in and she's like, yeah, you're right, it's really nothing. She was like, it's not yeast, it's not vaginosis, it's nothing gross like that. She was like, it just seems like your body's producing a lot of discharge right now. She did say she noticed some white blood cells in there, which could mean that I possibly have like a bladder infection or a urinary tract infection. And I was like, well, wouldn't those be painful for me if I had those? Like, wouldn't I feel something? And she was like, not always. Sometimes you have them and you don't know, or you don't have any symptoms. But she was like, let's just play it safe. And she put me on an antibiotic. I can't remember the name of it. It wasn't a very common one. But it was just 2 pills that you take at the same time. And I've already taken it and thrown out the pamphlet and the little bottle and all that stuff. So I don't know what it's called. But we just basically took that as a precaution just to make sure there was nothing brewing. And then I asked her, I said, well, I wasn't dilated or anything. And she goes, you know what, honestly, I didn't even check. She's like, I'm not worried about that with you right now. You haven't been having any type of contractions or anything, so don't worry about it. So that was pretty much the end of that. And then when I was getting my blood drawn for my thyroid test, one of the nurses found out that we used a sperm bank, and she started asking a lot of questions and stuff, which I personally love that. I love when people ask questions as opposed to just assuming. So she asked a lot of questions and we gave a lot of answers, and that was pretty much it. We left there and went and got some lunch. So that went well. And then we had our first childbirthing class this week as well. I'm trying to remember what day that was on. That was on Wednesday. So our doctor's appointment was on Wednesday. We went to both on Wednesday. So childbirthing class was pretty general. It was the first one. It's every Wednesday for a month. So this first one, we pretty much just talked about the basics, you know, what dilation actually looks like, what contractions feel like, when to go to the hospital, what items to bring, things that your spouse can do to help make you feel better during labor, the different stages of labor, all that kind of stuff. So it was pretty basic. We did play like a little game, and I won like a little package of Pampers and wipes and stuff like that. And they provided cookies and, you know, that awesome hospital crushed ice. And we went on a tour of the hospital. I got to see the labor and delivery rooms. I got to see the nursery. There was like 10 babies in there. And of course, I didn't want to leave the babies. I almost cried when it was time to leave the babies. But yeah, it's a really awesome hospital. All the nurses were very friendly. They all welcomed us when we got there, and they all said goodbye. And, you know, I'll see you guys soon, you know, when we all left or whatever. And everyone who finds out what hospital I'm delivering at, they're like, that's the best hospital to deliver at. So, very happy with that. I've got a hair in my nose. I think I just sucked one of my curls up into my nose. But yeah, other than that, childbirthing class was good. After that, we stopped and got some Taco Bell, came home, went to bed. And then I'll have my next childbirthing class this Wednesday. And then I also have my first breastfeeding class this Thursday. So next video, I'll have more information as far as that's concerned. And I guess really only thing left to talk about is cravings this week. They're pretty much the same. I'm still craving lots of fruits and veggies. I can easily sit down and eat a whole bag of baby carrots in one sitting, or a whole carton of like the little cherry tomatoes, chocolate. We had to make a Snickers stop last night on the way home. Cereal, yes, Nessa cereal. She made a little smart comment in her last video about how I'm still eating a lot of cereal. I am, but you got to remember, I don't drink milk, so that's like the only way my body gets milk is with cereal. So popsicles, which I'm out of popsicles right now. I'm going to the grocery store tomorrow though, so I will restock on those. Lots of ice, but like I said, I've been like, I'm able to think ahead now, so I know when I want ice. And I'll just like let it sit on the counter in a cup for like 10 minutes and let it melt down a little bit, and it's softer, so I'm not like messing my teeth up and stuff like that. But I'm still eating a lot of ice. Even yesterday, me and my sister went to McDonald's, and I didn't even order a combo. I was like, let me get a McChicken wrap, which is delicious, by the way, with all the it's got like greens and tomatoes and stuff. It just made me feel like I was eating healthy, even though it's still McDonald's. I got that. I got a small fry, and I was like, how much would you charge me for a cup of ice? And they were like, don't worry about it. Threw me one of those medium-sized cups of ice, and that lasted me for like 2 hours, and I was completely content. I'm able to plan ahead for my ice, and then when this is my cup of ice right now, when this gets about halfway empty, I'll start my next cup and refill my tray. So I've got like a whole assembly line going with that. And we are keeping a close eye on my iron. I told you guys already, my iron is cool. Dark soda still. Pepsi is my friend. I love Pepsi. And that's really about it. I'm out of breath. So I'm going to do a quick belly shot. And I guess BLT and I will get out of here. Also, everyone's been asking about an address to send stuff to for BLT. So what I'm going to do is in the description box, I'm going to put up an address that you guys can send stuff to if you so choose. And I'll probably just start doing that on all of my videos because it's a frequently asked question. So that's what we'll do as far as that's concerned. So give me one sec to get up. This has been like one of my staple tank tops, and I got bleach on it the other day. One of the casualties of war, I guess. So this is BLT and I with her big old self, and I sing too. I say big old, big old, big old baby, big old, big old, big old baby. She seems to like it. And I sing, ooh, baby, baby, but baby, baby. So these stretch marks here, they're starting to get a little bit worse. There's not really too much I can do about them. I'm still greasing up, but there's not really too much I can do. I'm not really too worried about it. But that's us. It's been great spending time with y'all as always. Take it easy, lemon squeezy.